Then, Haiyan people together go to Heaven Lao Pioneer. The death toll is now fully recovered. After hearing about the situation, and he was amazed. Even the high scene holds in his hand the sword. Nor can it repel Sao invaders. Perhaps the Emperor Gao's original judgment was correct. The world is one step away from collapse. I walk behind you from beginning to end, deep without speaking. Very fast people went to Gao's coffin. SA execution death pointed up, said, "The Imperial Jade is in the coffin of Emperor Gao." "Your Majesty, please wait a moment." The Lord woke the Lord in the coffin. When he finished, he shook the golden bell in his hand. I looked at the coffin hanging from the sky. In the heart of terror, Gao's body. Then Ra is. It was stored at the bottom floor of the Tianlao Pioneer. SAO at SAO in documents of Emperor 7. I've never mentioned this before. Follow the sound of the bell called by the SA to execute. Gao's body inside the coffin. Quickly wake up. The rooster sensed something horrifying. Something is already waking up. Very quickly, the coffin lid was slowly pushed out. When you see that, immediately jump in. Front. It's dangerous, Your Majesty. Please stand behind me. The coffin lid came down from the air. Hold your head up and ask. The last sound is 3 spirit bars of the SAO remote. Tall, he looked at the person above the aesthetic. The high priest is not dead. That's not true. He's not Gao. It's a myth. SAO long life Emperor and Father. You can let something like that exist. Fast forward from the coffin. Blink. He showed up behind the SA execution. Death at SAO awakens the cause. This is also not considered a true high. It's a concept of Gao. So should the Cao Ra have such prejudice against it? The SA immediately responded. The fire ritual of Chu Duke. Preliminary design is carried out. It must have the jewel in your hand. When you hear that, nod your head. Is that so then? He threw the jade in the hands of Cho Cao. He held out his hand to catch the jewel from the beginning. In the end, there was no voice. Gao Feng looked at him and asked Tan Long. Before ascending the throne, what title did you choose for yourself? High, he replied indifferently. The high-born hear that and speak up. It's the kind of serious need. Not ashamed of ancestors. SAO also in DTO is a good title. Keep your eyes closed. Of course, I know what a good title is. But the one who says Ra with this attitude and tone. Do you really consider yourself a sovereign? The founding of the Tons. My ancestors are great. When I heard that, my face was sad. After a while, he spoke up. Of course not. Cause and effect. I'm just standing at an outsider's point of view. You're angry. His face dropped down enough, and there was a reason. If it wasn't for Cao Ra's descendants, can't damage the remains of our ancestors. I just hate not being able to tear you apart on the spot. Next. Then he turned his head to the person next to him. SA death at SAO, the Emperor tolerates. For this unclean existence, thus the SA executes. Because this is the will of the Emperor Gao. And the Kai Dharma ancestors of the great. All the angels in heaven. They also have no right to undermine Gao's plans. High soul. When I heard that, I was so angry that I gritted my teeth. And then we're not going to be here anymore. Turn your head and leave. We're going to the fire department. 2 people from Nin Trong, together, also quickly clasped hands with Cao Thang. We'd like to step back and nod our heads. Very quickly inside the 3rd floor Tianlao Pioneer. Only SA remains to execute with Cao Thang, waiting for everyone to leave. Sigh when you are depressed. The real cause is not high. I also know that the birth. Our mission and our end have been determined by the high. Death, you say? Cause to come. There is no SAO for whatever you call yourself. SA executed immediately clasped hands. Your Majesty certainly deserves this title. At the moment that you give birth to your own will, it is also the person who has completed the ritual. Born to die and then reborn, has officially entered the path of martyrdom beyond Ra. Since the establishment of the Great War, all the dead are held by martial artists, pushed down to the underworld, and all who live appeared in the spring hell. They were discovered and brought back. The underworld, Your Majesty, it's done. Complete the second step of the ritual. It's a vital condition. In addition to the legend of the Emperor, it's very widely circulated among the people. That's after death, the man who built and ran the spring hell, for thinking of the suffering of the world, who led his old army. Conquer the legend of the devil, the first 10 levels of hell. Now you've completed 3 steps, the first rite of martyrdom. You can take the 4th step at any time. He then became the real ruler of the underworld. Paul glanced at him. But not. You are preventing me from taking the 4th step. Why stop me from becoming the new Lord of Hell? It's you. The SA executed his bow. Because the time hasn't come yet. Gao Sheng is a little angry. The opportunity has not come to Sao Cao. Xin died in battle. He was trapped in the battlefield. Even like that, you and your mouth still think that the time has not come. SA execution response. Please believe in this generation of kings. I believe in martial artists, and believe in the great army, voluntarily transformed into a demon general, to fight all night with the pagans who are occupying Naiha Bridge. He believed that he would win the high heaven and ask again. If people are destined to, you can't beat the sky. Death SA is the answer. Then the future is desperate, that the Emperor predicted would come to us. People wanted to live all over the world at that time. I will ask you to paint. Get back face for them. Turn your head high and flutter your hands. Get tired and take care of yourself. Another side, the high ones are now out of heaven. Someone just came out and was waiting. He looked at the enemy. Have the funds leading to the operation been established? This man is the commander of the Kaitai embassy, named Dumiu, specialized in charge of currency spending, iron salt monopoly, gas legal management, and the distribution of religious resources in the world. I can hear you ask. He said it was set up. Can start at any time. I didn't hesitate to give orders. Then let's go. The next group of people quickly went back to the fund. The 4 fins now have an electrical pole. Gather in the middle. The people who came were covered in light. Then it all disappeared in place. After a while, they were transported to the fire cell. This is one of the great patrimony of the Tet. He looked around curiously and asked, "This is the SAO fire cell." She's going to speak up in response. Has been robbed by quick understanding. That's right. This is the flaming cell. This place is no less important than the sky. Let the 2 men in the back stare at each other. Slowly walk up to the front and say, I have read all the information related to peace. In the documents of Emperor 7, the flames are sacrificed here. It's not just the temple. Nam Min Cup Harmony, You Do Min Hoa and Pink Union Fire Sao. Why do I see hundreds of fires? You just finished the sentence. Someone behind me came to the answer. What you read is an old calendar. After the attack was completely secure. A way to exchange across the world. With the other worlds. Fire in the active cell has increased to 128 flames. Only unfortunately, even though the flames from the other world in the fire cell has increased a lot. But the 8 fires haven't been fully replenished. This old woman is the fire guardian of the Cave of Fire. Schoolgirl Grandma. If you doubt it, or stand there and go. Whispered in his hand. This is your grandmother's life. Keeper of the fire cell. It's like SA execution. Was the founding senator of the great. When you hear that, you nod. So that's what Ra is. My grandmother continued to look at them. This guy is Tan Long of the Grand Master. The schedule of the 3 angels are also here. You're going to have a fire service, aren't you? Except the Devil's Tower over there is not suitable. There are only 3 candidates this time. But seriously, he didn't come. There's no him here. Mortality rate during fire. It can't be reduced. At this point, there is a slight cutting of the voice. That's enough of these 3 candidates. There was one lucky person who survived after the burning of the city. She's a fireman. The birth of Red Union Fire. If not, there are 2 other candidates for the title. Only one person came this time. He was trapped in the south. The fire service couldn't come this time. Forever, she nodded. That's what it turns out. I can't blame you for not seeing the 7 Southerners this time. That's good. Maybe it's good to reduce the number of deaths. Follow this old lady. I will take you to the land of fire. Through many generations, after a while, the people who were led by your grandmother. A great power in the middle of the earth is a phoenix. There is a picture with the names of 8 fires. People go straight to the middle. Phoenix cow, he difficult to understand. I can't help but look at life, she asked. This is the fireland of the Grand Duke Sao calendar. But I can't see any fire. Forever, she calmly replied. They're right at your feet. Inside the wear-out organ cluster, that cow thing thanks to the spring to build the school. Your mother just finished talking. There's movement below the ground. At the bottom is a complex pile of gear organs. Is starting to turn around. Very fast for flames corresponding to 4 positions. It's been pushed up from the ground. These 4 flames are Nam Min Lai Fire, Solar Foot Fire, Yudu Min Fire, and Red Interindustrial Fire. Wait until the fire shows up. She looked at the 3 chickens and said, although the fire ritual, I'm not asking you to choose the Southern Ming Cup. But from a compatibility perspective, and the limits of fire, that consider, then the fire is really the best choice. This is also the reason that all the Grand Duke's calendars chose Southern Ming to break away, based on the mystical connections of the dynasty. With 4 statues with Chu Duke, bringing Nam Min to the extreme. It's possible to regenerate pure blood. Only then can we develop the fire. The most powerful fire. Until then, it's only based on this fire suppression trick. Will be enough to overpower the king of the underworld. And silently on the ground, young Redhead, one of the participants. When the fire broke out, he asked, please tell me about the past few years. Has anyone done that yet? Forever Grandma sighed. The previous generation was the most promising. Unfortunately, he died too early. If you can't reach that step, you're dead. When the young man finished listening, his face became serious. I understand that, because Nam Min broke up. This young man is 6. Originally from Ha 6 City, the same blood as his predecessor. His secret technique is the law of the devil. After making a choice, he went to sit in front of the south. Look at the fire burning in front of you. 6 life in the heart cannot help but be amazed. Aesthetics though this scene. I played it over and over in my head many times. But we've come to this step. To be honest, I'm still very nervous. Think for a moment. 6 then he put his hand into the fire. Nam Min split up immediately follow his hands. Lan overflowed. Fire-breaking ritual of Southern Zhou Duke. The first step is peace. It's bringing fire to the body. Use your body as a torch. When I saw it in the distance, I was terrified. He's crazy. There is no body protection. I don't care if the Lan fire gets all over me. The person next to you immediately explained. Your Majesty doesn't need to worry like that. He is the one with the same blood as the Lord. His predecessor, the secret skill he's best at, is the law of worship. This skill has a unique secret method. It's causing the upper body to burn, without burning to death. However, because of the difficulty of leveling up this particular skill, getting to the highest level is difficult, so most of the donkey cults, it can only stop at stage 2 for the rest of your life. Throughout the entire dynasty of the gods, I'm afraid that now, you can only find 2 or 3 people holding fire. First class high, I heard him explain before I understood. Then Ra is like that, Sao. At this time, the entire body was covered in fire. In his heart, he thought this was the Sao. Not at all on the same level as the wildfires that we've been in contact with before. Even if we have to be very careful, it will be destroyed by this fire right away. After the last moment, the 6-year-old has also succeeded. Complete the first step. Next is the second step of the fire. It's drawing fire into the lungs, reverses the movement of the bronchial thymus on the hand. 6 min born open mouth, Nam min lie fire. Then follow his nose and mouth into the person, a path that moves along his body. It's finally concentrated inside the lungs. Follow the fire, getting inside the body. 6. The fire burns outside. His body has also calmed down. The whole school looked back quietly. Let's see if he can make it past step 2. In the distance to observe in the heart of wonder. The first step passed very smoothly. Of course, 6 is very special. It's the old days. Their ancestors had been connected for a long time with a certain San high race. Have the talent to control the fire. Otherwise, there's no way to explain it. Why? They know how to use fire in a very good way. Without such pressure. The acupressure points from the 6 Min Sheng arm are shining in turn. Southern Ming glass fire is following his meridians through the Van acupressure points. Chinese government subject Bok lower. Chain Sich Tai Ui in fish lack of injury. But to the 9th point of lack of love. Then the harmony flows out. I can't light this point. 6 Min born at this time face extremely unsightly. There was fresh blood in my nose. She sighed as she saw it. Sorry, this stuff hasn't been trained to its fullest. After a moment, the 6 senses on the face. There was no stopping fresh blood. I saw this scene for the first time. It's all sweaty. After a while, 6 people couldn't stand it anymore. The fire broke out violently. He immediately burned his body. He couldn't bear to raise his face to the sky and scream. Just a little bit more missing. I saw him burned by the fire. Screaming so painfully, I dare not look anymore. Close your eyes and turn your head to the side. She looked at the other 2 and asked, Who's up next? Go out and tell me. When she saw him go out, she asked him. Solar Foot Fire Sao. Millet nodded her head. That's right. The skill that roosters cultivate is the great Japanese Golden Sutra. Her grandmother watched him sigh. I can understand the feelings of the 12 generals. You first. You want to control the temple. Then do the reverse. To complete the great jewel of Japan. But seriously, Hoa is not here. Fire 7 defeat. There is no chance to go back and correct it. The dog calmly looked at her. Death is not the end of life. It's losing the will to move forward. You can nod when you hear that. I don't advise you either. After a while, the rooster's cry of sorrow echoed. He lost 7 in the first fire. It's being burned by the temple right now. Life is not equal to death. Look at the enemy screaming so painfully. Then he turned his head and glanced at Nin Trung. Give him some dignity. Then he turned around and asked. Chu Duke's firefighting ritual is so difficult, Sao. I used to be so successful. Quick save and clasp lander. He was serious before. The 7 candidates lost in the second step. You can go back to the first step before you start the fire. The human body to step 3. You may have the opportunity to do it again a few times. I heard you whisper. Negative influence that is strictly besieged. It's shown right now. Then he asked again. How many times has my previous life been successful? Immediately respond once. It's scary to hear that. Next time, how did he do that? He replied, in the words of the Lord. The life before. Who's the strongest in terms of trick control? Even if you look back on history, there are very few people who can compare to him. 2 people talking at the same time. The only girl left. She also went to her grandmother's school. I asked her if it was my turn. Schoolgirl, grandma, look at this girl in the eye. In the heart of wonder. Think about this child. The soul is as clear as a newborn child. I don't blame you. She's the one who holds the golden lotus. I saw her standing there looking at me. She called her grandmother again. The old lady is still staring at her. This girl's concept of good and evil is also very different with ordinary people. Even the notion of life and death. Also very different from ordinary people. After a while she asked, do you want to control the fire? She didn't answer, but took off her clothes. I just went to the Red Cross. She took off her pants in front of the emperor. Put your hands up immediately. Cover my eyes and eyes Gao, he shouted again. Don't look, don't look. After taking off your clothes, she pointed to the fire in front of her. Is this okay? After a while, she completed the first 2 steps of the fire ceremony. The 3rd step of the fire. Fire gas blending officially started. Let the fire burn. The same gases in the body that blend together. Make it like your own arm. To control. Hi, you at the bottom. When I saw that, I screamed. This one is too easy. Then he took the water seriously. If this guy's a candidate, I have no doubt that I will win one of the 8 prizes. Why do you still have family? In the family of Chu. Previous life and risky rooster. Fire, so this is not homemade. Damage our fighting strength, Sao. Save immediately clasped hands explain. Your Majesty, it comes from thinking in many ways. That's why I did it. Chu before life. In front of you is the most important job. Every dynasty, relatives of his family, please accept the fire. I can't help but give them this chance. About the upstairs part, even though she's the concierge. The fire of birth, but because the harmony with Nam Ming was too low. So Cho can only be a backup. Because the Duke of Chu need to take on part of the task of suppressing heresy. In the folk, you can't hold a glass of fire like her. It's a little lacking, I asked. What about chicken? How do you explain him? Continue to respond. The golden age of this world is incomplete. Led to the millet dynasties. Specialize in the 7 skills transmission. It's all about completing this sutra. It's their highest wish ever. About the reason why we accept solar foot fire is because holding temple's feet The fire can go in the opposite direction. Replenish the entire Great Japan Golden Sutra. So, all the rooster dynasties will replace Chutuk. Open period of the fire cave, please accept the fire. For hundreds of years this has been the norm. When you hear it, you understand. Then Ra is like that, Sao. Then wait for the fire service to end. He then raised the jade high. Dark color, the 4 new national statues of the country. The power of the 7 Southerners. Rest with the country. This girl upstairs officially became the new 4 statues of the great Duke of Zhou. The flame that holds is the interstellar fire. At the same time, the 7 towers in the southern night sky lit up again. Turn the scene to the devil in Bathuk. Inside, right now, a giant fat guy is lying on a pedestal. There are girls around serving. In front of him sat a man. This fat guy is the owner of the demon ward named Jiang Master. The devil's ward is the devil's trade line, the most famous in the world. The monk can be seen as a spirit on the ground. He looked at the person in front of him and said, "The new duke was born." And sitting across from him is a monster. The person before Kier. "I used to fight with turn HGG." Hearing the master's words, she replied, "That's right, he was the one who was chosen to replace her this time. It doesn't seem to use the Southern 7T yet." Subordinates speculate. This new ruler's successor. Maybe they're from the 6. Or a girl born in a calamity. When Cao Xin Thin, the teacher nodded and spoke. Currently, the direction of the battle is still unclear. I'm sure you won't make too risky a decision. Lucky people to have read Interprofessional Fire Respect. The high possibility is that this life is the state. Here's how you choose some heretics. To explore and test that girl's flame retardant. Just in time for our scouting in Tiju to be revealed. You can welcome a little. When the queen heard it, she nodded. The staff will act immediately. Move the scene back to the palace. Right now inside the library. Angry sound accompanied by Cao An's smashing. Non-stop transmission out. They dare to hide things like this from me. King Li and Queen Dong A can unlock the forbidden wind. Together, we escaped from prison. It is so important that they dare to hide it. What do they see me for? It is the main city. You must have known the body of Gao. It turned into a haunted body. Why did you not tell me when I was born? The high priest immediately responded. Because the body of the emperor turned into a haunted body. God's description will not be objective. I can't use narrative words. Carry personal emotions to influence your majesty's views and judgments. For the haunted body of the high priest. I sighed. You did the right thing. But I don't understand. Then the kingdom of existence is not being starry. And the evil god Baidu jointly destroy and Sao. He's dead. How can I connect with the queen? Escape from the sky. Don't say that the report was false. When my father was in power, the master quickly said what he knew. This one is not there. When the body of the king was alive, brought back to heaven, the god is also there. By that time, he was completely dead. But it's kind of like Gao's obsession. That's the body getting up and leaving. To a cave somewhere in the deep forest. Here are the little monsters here. They're having fun celebrating. That bastard is finally dead. Have fun at the party. The highest seat is the queen. He sat down at the bottom and looked at her. It turns out that you have such a high status in foreign affairs. The queen looked at him. This is not what we want. Don't say these anymore. I keep thinking about it. A dangerous person like you. The police at SAO kept it. If I were the king of heaven, it soon crushed your bones. It's become ash. The reason for hearing that, I remember the situation back then in my mind. When killed by the city's elite. His soul. And then you go to a place that's covered in fresh blood. The reason is that it goes on forever, just walking and looking around. This place is the opposite. It looks a lot like the bloody hell of legend. He said it's just a little deserted. Walking from a distance, it's been so long that even a demon can't see it. He just finished. There was a demon in the back. Out of the bloody bottom. He just showed up and tried to capture the reason. He looked at the devil in front of him. It's not. This is the devil in the bloody hell of legend. This is too bad, right? Now there is a body flying to deal with the Kier demon. Then he stood on top. The devil looked down and said, "Is the reason who Sao?" He was the first general of the army. The name of Wang. Moved to the east A. The 10 virtues are sitting in the meditation room now. The technique you practice is taught by the middle devil. After a while, he woke up from the practice. There is a shadow in front of you. You're hard to understand. Where is the fat man? I'm on my knees in the kitchen cooking. Wait, after 10 goodness out. I saw a great table of food prepared. His eyes glowed staring at the food. All of this is what you do. It all looks delicious. The devil crossed his arms in front of his chest. Of course, when we're traveling around the world, we've deliberately gone to places where food is popular. To learn that. The kitchen is a bit too much. But call me a celebrity chef. I can still carry it. On the table, 2 people ate hearty food. And the capital was pushed to the ground. Common food devil makes it white rice Chen blood dog. There are also 3 chopsticks on top, like an incense stick. It's stupid to see these 8 foods. I don't know what I'm thinking. On the table, 10 goodness constantly devouring. He knelt to the capital and asked, "Why don't you eat? Rice is prepared for those in the underworld, not to your taste." When the wind blows, his face drops. Swear the gentle beep. I don't eat rice in the blood of dogs. The devil doesn't pay much attention to eating. He's lived so long and he's so tough. Very quickly, the food table is full. The table was cleaned by 10 people. 10 skillful claw belly raised head contented to say Ra. That's the amount of rice I can eat. You can eat so much. I didn't really realize this before. The devil replied, "That's because you have moved to practice to duo min. My business. Cultivating the way to control your demons. Its characteristic is enhance the human digestive ability and doubled their food intake." 10 good people hear that and ask, in addition to strong digestive capacity, that's a lot of food. Is there anything else? Is there anything advanced? There will also be more demons in the air. 10 good size, that's all. I feel the wisest Qigong. The master gave it to me. Even stronger than his demon-raising skills in the 5 organs. Not less practice, the wisest Qigong. I can at least make my power bigger. The body is getting healthier. Without having to be useless. The devil is not angry when he hears that. It's because the schools are different. Have a different focus. There are 6 factors that determine the strength of a fighter. Physical observation, excellent learning law gas. And luck. The essence of controlling demons is observation and gas. We use observation to find demons. Use gas to feed demons. Other practitioners, you need to pay attention to 4 factors. It can form a force. But that's not how we control demons. After a good workout, look around arbitrarily to find some foster demons. You can fight now. If fully prepared. B grade job. A level ambush is normal. Just don't be too strong. 10 when you hear this, your face whispers. It's really that bad. Why do practitioners control demons? The teacher and I both knew died. There's no AI that can live until now. The devil replied. So I can only say, the people you and your master meet are poor. It's dark in the Holy See right now. Everybody's been falling asleep. Above the street, indictment. Now a new indictment is solid in the morning. Suddenly pulled down. The one who jumped down was Chung kneeling. He's doing it right now. With the help of the devil. Is in a state of invisibility. The devil read the indictment for a moment and then nodded. Well, that's him. The content of the indictment is the guest of the king of key sentence. Earlier this month, he accidentally killed his wife. Then fear of running away. 2 VI grade B master cultivated fluently. 8 grade generals. Warning, this person is extremely dangerous. I've killed a martial artist. The middle devil folded the advertisement, then looked at 10 good words. I'm taking you to find this runaway martial artist. It gives you the power of air. Equivalent to him. Then, give you the right to choose and use the 3 demons. And a ghost. You can experience the power of the benders for yourself. Demons through actual combat. 10 good listening, then nod your head. The next day at a roadside iced tea shop. A martial artist passing by. Stop and sit down at the table. Subjectively call to pies into an 8 alligator. Soak. This man is the fugitive guest of King Qi. Zhou Tian general summons to reveal. If you hear the customer call, immediately respond. Objectively, please wait a moment. He glanced at the people in the bar. The closer you look, the more he felt this place was inappropriate. Yuren too brought bread and water. Bad water, please. You use it casually. Put cake and water on the table. Are about to leave. It was held back by Zhang. 2 is retained by the enemy. The face immediately changes. People are drinking tea in the bar. Also squinted to look back, pointing to the cup of water on the table. 8 you drink. Then bring it up. Give me another 8. Just charge to 8. Pissing 2 sweats objectively answered. What do you mean? Maybe you feel. He put drugs in Mr. Sao's cup. Hands out a bunch of chopsticks on the table. Talking too much. You don't want to drink, or you don't want to drink. Step 2. Put the handle up to 8. Your suspicious objectivity is too severe. There are no black whores in this world. I'll drink it for you to see. Finished talking. He's definitely putting 8 water in a clean steam. You see, but he just finished. Suddenly, the dog stood up again. Give the enemy a chance to react. The wand in the hand swung directly into the neck of the P2. The child is playing with the cat in the house. When I saw that, I was terrified. Grandfather Han was drinking nearby and immediately stood up. The old man stole the chicken and couldn't burn it. They lost their rice. Everybody come together and take him down. When he finished, he led the way. Hold out your hand and grab the table next to you. Then use force to avoid the enemy. I saw the table coming towards me. The speed is a little bit stopped. Then quickly swinging an axe and cutting the table in 2. But when he's done with that table, I didn't see the opponent. Great Han is confused, constantly glancing left and right. Exposed, he's hiding behind another table. In the air. When the enemy is not paying attention, he threw 2 races towards the enemy. Even though my body is big, but the reaction is not slow. The stick just came in front of me. He was able to turn his head to the side. Then he threw an axe at the highway. If you don't answer, it's disrespectful.